The autumn in Boston was growing chillier day by day. In a suburban neighborhood where trees swayed in the wind with their red and yellow leaves, Sophia Johnson was busy preparing breakfast. The morning sunlight streaming through the window bathed the white kitchen counter in a golden hue, while the steam rising from the coffee cup gave her an indescribable sense of comfort. "Emily, breakfast is ready. You'll be late for school." In response to Sophia's call, small footsteps echoed from the second floor. 8-year-old Emily, her hair tied in 2 ponytails and dressed in a blue school uniform dress, came running down the stairs. "Good morning, Mom." Despite her cheerful voice, there seemed to be a small shadow lurking in Emily's eyes. Lately, she appeared to have lost some of her usual brightness. Sophia gently kissed her daughter's forehead and presented her with a plate of pancakes and fruit. "Is Daddy still sleeping?" Emily asked, her mouth full of pancake. "Yes, he seems to have worked late yesterday," Sophia answered as brightly as she could. "Brush your teeth as soon as you finish eating. Mrs. Clark will be driving you today." Michael appeared in the living room just after Emily had climbed into the Clark's car next door. He had a trim physique. As a sales manager at a construction company, he always maintained a clean, professional appearance in his suits. "Good morning, Sophie," Michael kissed his wife's cheek. "Sorry I got home so late last night. The Bayview project contract is proving difficult." "Don't worry about it," Sophia smiled. "I've prepared coffee and toast." "You're in a hurry, aren't you?" Michael gave her a grateful smile and quickly ate his breakfast. Sophia watched him, feeling somewhat concerned. Recently, he had been coming home late more often and going out for work on weekends too. She didn't want to doubt her loving husband, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was changing. "Oh, by the way, don't make any plans for next Friday," Michael said as he stood up. "It's a special day, isn't it?" Sophia smiled happily. Next Friday was her birthday. She felt warm that Michael had remembered. "Are you planning something with Emily?" "That's a secret," Michael winked and picked up his briefcase. "What time will you be home today?" "I'm on night shift. I'll leave at 5 and be back at 7 tomorrow morning." Michael seemed to ponder this. "Night shift again this week. What about Emily?" "Don't worry. Jennifer will be here. She's Emily's favorite babysitter." Michael turned back at the door and looked at her with a distant gaze. "Sophie, you really work hard. For us." "So do you," Sophia said gently. "Don't worry about anything tonight, just focus on your work." After Michael left, Sophia thought about her life as a nurse while cleaning up the kitchen. The night shifts at St. Mary's Hospital were physically demanding, but they allowed her to attend Emily's school events during the day. Besides, she loved the quietness of night shifts that enabled her to develop deeper connections with her patients. Looking toward the living room, she saw a family photo of the 3 of them displayed. It was taken 3 years ago at Disneyland. Emily wore Minnie Mouse ears and was beaming between her parents. Those days were certainly simpler and happier. Sophia sighed. She had been worried about Emily lately. Her usually talkative daughter had become quiet in recent weeks, and sometimes Sophia caught her crying alone at night. When asked, Emily would only say, "Nothing's wrong." Sophia was concerned that she might be bullied at school, but when she checked with the teacher, there didn't seem to be any problems. Sophia headed to the bedroom to prepare her nurse's uniform. Outside the window, neighbor Mr. Parker was walking his dog. This quiet suburban neighborhood was home to the house she and Michael had purchased soon after getting married. At the time, it was an expensive property they weren't sure they could afford, but as Michael's career progressed, they had grown comfortable. Sophia's phone rang, interrupting her thoughts. It was the hospital. "Hello, this is Sophia." "Sophia, we're short-staffed for tonight's shift. Could you come in early? Maybe at 4. It was her colleague, Nurse Lucy. "Yes, that's fine. I'll call Jennifer and ask her to come early. After hanging up, Sophia hurriedly began preparing. She contacted babysitter Jennifer, prepared Emily's dinner, and wrote a note for Michael. Her life was always like this, finding balance while running at full speed every day. But deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Michael's changes, Emily's dejected mood, and her own vague anxiety. Sophia shook her head, trying to dispel such thoughts. Her birthday was next week. Surely Michael was planning a nice surprise. This family's happiness was real, she tried to convince herself as she continued preparing for her busy day. Sophia was checking patient charts at the nurse's station. October winds rattled the hospital windows, making eerie sounds in the quiet of the night shift. 2 a.m. After checking on her critical patients, she took a sip of coffee and checked her phone. There were no messages from Michael. He must be sleeping, she told herself. However, the anxiety lurking in her heart had been growing day by day over the past few weeks. 3 nights ago, Sophia had finished her night shift early and returned home 2 hours ahead of schedule. The house was silent. Emily was already asleep, and Michael's car wasn't in the garage. The clock showed 5 a.m.
Do you know some people earn over $10,000 a month just by posting Reddit stories on YouTube? No face, no voice, just a laptop. I do it 2 link below if you're curious.
She sat on the living room sofa and waited for her husband to return. When Michael opened the front door, the clock had just passed 6:30. You're home early. Michael entered the living room with a surprised look and slightly unsteady steps from drinking. My shift ended early. Where were you? Oh, a meeting with a client ran late, and then we went for a few drinks, he answered hesitantly. Why are you looking at me like that? Like what? Like, you're suspicious of me. Sophia sighed. I was just worried. You've been coming home late a lot recently. Michael approached her and placed his hands on her shoulders. Sophie, I love you. I'm just busy with work. The Bayview project is important for the company. His eyes seemed sincere. However, the faint lipstick mark on his shirt collar contradicted his words. Sophia noticed it but said nothing. Instead, she smiled and nodded. I understand. You must be tired. Let's go to bed. Back at the hospital nurse's station, her colleague Mary sat down beside her. Are you okay? You seem deep in thought. Sophia shrugged. Just some stuff at home. Problems with Michael. Sophia was surprised by her friend's insight. She and Mary had been friends for 10 years and knew each other's families well. I don't know. He's been acting strange lately. Coming home late, keeping his phone with him all the time, Sophia said in a low voice. He even had a sudden business trip last weekend. That's never happened before. Mary took her hand. Men sometimes get too wrapped up in their work. Especially when it's a big project. I know, but... Sophia trailed off. Emily seems to have noticed too. Yesterday she said, Daddy's different lately. Mary was silent for a moment. Why don't you ask him directly? Ask what? Are you having an affair? Sophia laughed bitterly. That sounds ridiculous. Michael isn't that kind of person. But those words were meant to convince herself. The next day, Sophia was making lunch and looking out the kitchen window. Emily was playing alone in the yard. In the past, she would have been playing noisily with neighborhood children, but lately, she had been spending more time alone. Emily, sandwiches are ready. Small footsteps approached, and Emily entered the kitchen. Her hair was disheveled, and her eyes were slightly red. Have you been crying? Sophia asked worriedly. No, Emily shook her head. But her eyes told a different story. Emily, if something's wrong, will you tell me? I'm always on your side. Emily fidgeted with her sandwich for a while. Mom, are you and Dad getting divorced? That question clutched at Sophia's heart. What are you saying? Of course not. Why would you think that? When Jessica's mom and dad got divorced, Jessica's dad was always coming home late. And then he was gone. Sophia hugged her daughter. We're not getting divorced. Dad's just busy. Emily said nothing, but her small body relaxed with relief. That evening, Sophia was tempted to look at Michael's phone. While he was in the shower, his cell phone left on the living room table seemed to be calling to her. However, she suppressed the urge. Without trust, nothing would remain. That's what she told herself. Instead, she thought about plans for her birthday next week. Michael seemed to be planning something special but wouldn't reveal the details. Emily also appeared excited, as if hiding something. Clinging to that small hope, Sophia tried to suppress her anxiety. But the anxiety wouldn't disappear. Conversations with Michael became superficial, and his return times grew increasingly late. The day before Sophia's birthday, she received a message from Michael. Got an urgent business trip. Have to go to Chicago. I'll be back tomorrow night. I'll try to make it in time for your birthday. Sophia clutched her phone, a cold sensation running through her body. Tomorrow was supposed to be a special birthday spent with family. Michael's excuses no longer carried weight. While baking a cake for Emily, Sophia made a decision. Perhaps tomorrow would be the time to learn the truth. She returned to her room and stood before the mirror. Her slightly tired face bore traces of her days as a nurse, mother, and wife. How would things change from tomorrow? That night, after Emily fell asleep, Sophia lay in bed staring at the ceiling. It was time to be honest with herself. Michael had changed. Their relationship had changed. She felt she was standing at a turning point in her life. Sophia woke up and immediately sensed that Michael's side of the bed was empty. She slowly sat up and checked her smartphone. There were no messages from Michael. Only a birthday card made of origami by Emily was placed on the bedside table. Happy birthday, Mom. Love, Emily. The childish handwriting on the card made Sophia smile involuntarily. At least one person had remembered her birthday. When she went down to the kitchen, Emily was already eating cereal she had prepared herself. Happy birthday, Mom. She jumped up from her chair and ran to hug Sophia. Thank you, Emily. Sophia buried her face in her daughter's hair. You've grown up so much, making your own breakfast. Well, today is Mom's special day. Dad said we should let you rest. Sophia gave a wry smile. Did he say that? Did he say when he'd be back? Yes, he said he'd be back tonight. Said he'd bring a present, Emily answered proudly. It seemed her daughter had been planning something with her father. I see. I'm looking forward to it. After sending Emily off to school, Sophia did household chores while planning her day. She had time to herself until evening. It was rare to have a day off on her birthday, so she thought she'd treat herself a little. Around 10 in the morning, the doorbell rang. Sophia was surprised as she wasn't expecting visitors. When she opened the door, a delivery man was standing there. Are you Mrs. Sophia Johnson? Yes, I am. Delivery for you. The delivery man handed her a large bouquet of red roses and a small envelope. Who is it from? Sophia asked. I'm sorry. The sender wasn't specified. The delivery man bowed politely and left. Sophia closed the front door and returned to the living room. The bouquet was magnificent. 24 red roses were beautifully arranged with green leaves and white baby's breath. Could it be from Michael? But he always included a card with the florist's name. She opened the envelope. Inside was a white piece of paper. It had printed text that read, You deserve to know the truth. Come to this address at 3 p.m. today. Come alone. From someone who cares about you. Below was an unfamiliar address. Sophia read the letter again. What was this? A prank? Or something about Michael? Her heart began to race. She placed the bouquet on the dining table and searched for the address on her smartphone. According to Google Maps, it was a warehouse in an industrial area on the outskirts of Boston. Sophia felt a cold anxiety. Who would send her such a letter? Someone who knew something about Michael. A friend like Mary. Or Michael's mistress. When the last thought crossed her mind, she shuddered. For about an hour, Sophia agonized over what to do. Should she contact the police? Should she call Michael? No, first she needed to stay calm. This might just be a prank. At 2 in the afternoon, Emily returned from school. Sophia regretted not having time to pick her up. Mom, I made a birthday card at school. Emily proudly presented a colorful card. Thank you, it's lovely, Sophia smiled and hugged her daughter. Did Jaden's mom drive you home today? Yes. Oh, beautiful flowers. Emily noticed the bouquet on the dining table. Yes. Someone delivered them. Emily approached the bouquet and touched one of the roses. Suddenly, the color drained from her face. Emily. What's wrong? Mom. I've seen these flowers before, Emily's voice trembled. Sophia rushed to her daughter's side. What do you mean? There was a pretty lady holding the same flowers near my school. Emily's eyes were wide with fear. She was with Dad. Sophia's whole body froze. When? Last week, no, about 2 weeks ago. On my way home from school. Dad was in his car, and she approached with flowers. What did she look like? Long blonde hair, very pretty. A grown-up. Various possibilities raced through Sophia's mind. Michael had been meeting with a young woman. She was holding flowers. And now, similar flowers had been delivered. Emily, Mom needs to go out for a while, Sophia decided. Will you wait at Mrs. Clark's house for a bit? Emily shook her head. Don't go, Mom. I'm scared. It's okay. Mom will be back soon. Then I'm coming with you. Emily's expression was determined. Sophia hesitated. She shouldn't take her daughter along. But she couldn't leave her alone here either. Emily's eyes showed a mix of anxiety and determination. All right. But you have to do exactly as I say, no matter what. Promise? Emily nodded with a serious expression. They got into Sophia's car and headed to the address written in the letter. The scenery outside changed gradually from residential neighborhoods to industrial areas. As they entered an area lined with rusty warehouses and old factories, Emily clung to Sophia's arm. Mom, are you sure this is okay? It's fine, Sophia said, but she seemed to be reassuring herself as well. They arrived at the specified address. It was a section of small warehouse units lined up. Sophia parked the car, looking for the number, B17. Emily, wait here. No. I'm coming with you. Sophia took her daughter's hand and slowly approached Unit B17. The surroundings were quiet, with no other people in sight. Sophia's heart was pounding furiously. Standing in front of the warehouse unit, she noticed the door was slightly open. Voices of a man and woman could be heard from inside. They were laughing. Sophia cautiously peered through the gap in the door. What she saw made her blood freeze. Michael was inside. And next to him was a young woman with long blonde hair, just as Emily had described. They appeared to be organizing some documents. Near the woman was a bouquet of red roses very similar to the one Sophia had received. Jessica, this is almost perfect, Michael's voice could be heard. Just need the final signature. Yes, everything is going according to plan, the woman, called Jessica, answered. Has she noticed anything? Sophia knows nothing. She trusts me completely. Those words sent a sharp pain through Sophia's chest. She held Emily's hand tightly, and they hid in the shadow of the warehouse. Mom, that's her. The person who was with Dad, Emily said in a small voice. I know, Sophia answered with a trembling voice. Emily, stay quiet. The conversation inside the warehouse continued. What will happen to Sophia when she finds out about this? It was Jessica's voice. That's not a problem. Everything has already been arranged. Their laughter was heard again. Sophia had almost forgotten to breathe. Her mind was in chaos. Michael had betrayed her. That was clear. But what was this plan they were talking about? And who had sent her the letter and flowers? Emily tugged at her sleeve. Mom, let's go home. Sophia came to her senses and looked at her daughter. Fear was visible in Emily's eyes. Yes, this wasn't a safe place. She took her daughter and quietly returned to the car. Once in the car, Sophia took a deep breath. Emily, are you okay? Emily nodded silently. Her small face was pale. Listen, Emily, Sophia looked into her daughter's eyes with a serious expression. Don't tell anyone about what we just saw and heard. Not even Dad. Promise. Okay, but is Dad doing something bad? Sophia didn't know how to answer. Mom doesn't know yet. That's why I need to investigate a bit more. She started the engine and left the warehouse area. Heading home, various thoughts raced through her mind. Michael's betrayal, the mysterious letter, and above all, Emily's safety. Sophia made a decision. She had to solve this mystery and learn the truth. And she was prepared to do whatever necessary to protect herself and her daughter. Sophia sat at the kitchen table, clutching a coffee cup with trembling hands. Emily was quietly playing in her room upstairs. To ease the shock, Sophia had given her daughter her favorite stuffed animal and told her to rest a bit. Outside the window, the evening sky was gradually darkening. The scene at the warehouse kept replaying in her mind. Michael and Jessica. Documents. Laughter. And her husband's words, she knows nothing. What should I do? She whispered. Should she contact the police? Should she consult a friend? But without evidence, she didn't even know exactly what was happening. The doorbell rang, bringing Sophia back to reality. The clock pointed to 6 o'clock. Could it be Michael returning? She nervously headed to the door. But standing on the other side was an unfamiliar woman. An Asian woman dressed in a neat business suit. Are you Sophia Johnson? The woman asked in a calm voice. Yes, Sophia answered cautiously. And you are? Linda Chen. I need to talk with you. May I come in? Sophia hesitated. But something in this woman's serious gaze suggested important matters. Please do. In the living room, Linda Chen sat on the sofa and opened her briefcase. I sent you the letter and flowers, she said abruptly. Sophia gasped. Why? Who are you? I'm the financial director at Michael's company, Linda replied matter-of-factly. I've come to protect you. You're in a dangerous situation. What do you mean? Linda took out a stack of documents from her briefcase. Please look at these. These are records of transactions that Michael and Jessica Walker have conducted over the past 6 months. Sophia scanned the documents. They showed complex number sequences and records of large transfers to an account registered in her name. This is embezzlement, Linda said with a stern expression. Michael is moving company funds to a secret account in your name. The total amounts to about $2 million. Sophia's hands trembled. An account in my name? But I don't have such a thing. I'm sure you don't. This is forged. However, legally, everything is set up to be your responsibility. Why are you showing me this? Linda sighed deeply. I've worked for this company for 30 years. Since Michael's father's time. They treated me like family. I cannot stand by and watch the company be exploited in this way. Sophia was confused. But why not go to the police? The evidence is insufficient. And Linda paused. I've been diagnosed with terminal cancer. I don't have much time left. But before I go, I want to do the right thing. Sophia was speechless. This woman she had just met was going to such lengths to protect her. There's more. Linda pulled out another document. This is the most shocking. It was an insurance contract. A life insurance policy in Sophia Johnson's name. The beneficiary was Michael Johnson. The amount was $5 million. The contract date was 3 months ago. I don't remember taking out such insurance, Sophia said with a shaking voice. Of course not. This too is forged. But it's very skillfully done, undetectable without investigation, Linda continued with a grave expression. Michael and Jessica plan to pin the crimes on you and position themselves as victims. And eventually. Sophia shuddered with fear. They want to. She couldn't even say the words. That possibility should be considered, Linda said severely. There are many documents with your forged signature. At this rate, you'll be the one arrested. Or something worse might happen. Emily. Sophia whispered her daughter's name. Yes, I'm worried about your daughter too, Linda took Sophia's hand. That's why we must act now. What should I do? I have a plan. But there's no time. Is Michael coming back tonight? Yes, he's. Just then, the sound of the front door opening was heard. Sophie, I'm home. Michael's voice echoed. Linda and Sophia exchanged glances. Linda quickly returned the documents to her briefcase and stood up. Linda. Michael came into the living room with a surprised expression. What are you doing here? Michael, Linda replied calmly. I was just explaining to Sophia about the company's charity event. A momentary wariness flashed across Michael's face, but he quickly smiled. I see. Sophia will surely be happy to participate. Yes, it was a very interesting discussion, Sophia smiled, suppressing her trembling voice. Well, I'll be going now. Linda picked up her briefcase and headed for the door. As she left, she handed Sophia a small card. The details are here, please consider it. After the door closed, Michael approached Sophia and embraced her. Happy birthday, I love you. Sophia froze in her husband's arms. After what she had just learned, this embrace felt like being wrapped by a venomous snake. However, she had to continue acting. For Emily. And for herself. Thank you, she smiled. It's a special day. Oh, absolutely, Michael winked. I have a surprise. I'll let you know when it's ready. Sophia clutched the card she had received from Linda. It was her only hope. A helping hand extended by a stranger in the midst of danger. She resolved to find a way to protect Emily and escape from this predicament without Michael noticing. As the night deepened, anger and despair welled up in Sophia's heart. 12 years of marriage. The difficulties they had overcome together. Was it all a lie? But now, she had no time to think. It was time to act. Linda's card had a phone number and a short message. Tomorrow 8 a.m., Central Park bench. Come alone. Sophia hid the card in her pocket and took a deep breath. The next morning, Sophia met Linda at Central Park. As the cold autumn winds swirled fallen leaves around them, they formulated a plan. Here is all the evidence, Linda handed over a USB drive. Everything that proves Michael and Jessica's crimes is in here. We don't have much time. They plan to complete the final fund transfer next week and flee abroad. Sophia strengthened her resolve. What should I do? Act normally for 2 more days. And on Monday morning, sign these documents and submit them to the police. I'll arrange everything. That evening, Michael said he had planned a special dinner. It's to celebrate your birthday. You, Emily, and me. Sophia smiled. That sounds lovely. I'm looking forward to it. Sunday morning, Michael said he was going to church and left. It was unusual for him to attend church. Sophia used the opportunity to search the house. In a hidden sideboard in Michael's study, she discovered the originals of the forged documents. Among them was a forged signature changing the beneficiary of her life insurance to Michael. Monday morning, after Michael left for work, Sophia took Emily to school. Then she headed to the police station. Linda was already waiting there. Are you ready? Linda's eyes were filled with determination. Yes, Sophia took a deep breath. Let's begin. They submitted a complaint of fraud and embezzlement. The evidence was overwhelming. The police immediately began an investigation, and arrest warrants were issued. That evening, Michael and Jessica were arrested at the international airport. They had one-way tickets to the Dominican Republic. $100,000 in cash, part of the embezzled funds, and forged passports were found in Michael's bag. During the trial, Michael maintained to the end that Sophia had deceived him, but the evidence gathered by Linda exposed his lies. Michael and Jessica received prison sentences of 10 and 7 years respectively. With the settlement from the company and the compensation from her divorce from Michael, Sophia purchased a new house in the suburbs. Emily made friends at her new school and gradually regained her cheerfulness. Mom, we had a race in class today to see who could run the fastest. I won. Emily reported excitedly when she returned from school. Sophia stroked her daughter's hair. That's wonderful. I'm proud of you. Her friendship with Linda deepened, and they began to meet regularly. Linda's illness was progressing, but she remained positive until the end. I'm glad I could protect you and Emily, Linda smiled from her hospital bed. It was one of the most meaningful things in my life. On the day Linda passed away, Sophia and Emily placed red roses on her grave. The flowers that once represented fear had become symbols of courage and friendship. A year later, Sophia began taking evening psychology courses while working at the hospital. She had developed a new dream of becoming a counselor to support women who had experienced trauma. And one day, she met David Ramirez, the hospital's new pediatrician. In conversation with him, Sophia felt her heart lighten for the first time in a long while. She thought it was too early to think about love, but she wasn't opposed to starting with friendship. During a picnic with Emily and David, he told Sophia, "You're really a strong person. Raising Emily so wonderfully." Sophia smiled. Sometimes you have to be strong. To protect those you love. Under the blue sky, Sophia watched her daughter running around the park and reflected. Life is unpredictable. Sometimes cruel, sometimes beautiful. But most importantly, living with truth and love. That was what she wanted to teach Emily. And it was the most valuable lesson she herself had learned.